Hey,
Okay, I take two. I'd like to call the meeting of the Executive Committee for the Ojai Valley Sanitary District for 5 May 2025 to order. All right, then. Let's see here. We are item number 2, consider approval of direct request for a remote meeting. No, I guess not.
There are
Do we
none.
have any, item 3, do we have any public comment or anyone who signed in?
Nope.
There's nothing
Okay.
present, no.
All right. In that case, then the general agenda item number 4, discussion and recommendation for filling vacant Division 1 director seat and committee appointments. Discussion and questions.
I was about to tell people here that I sent Bill a note earlier this afternoon, not long ago. I had texted with Jeff Palmer, asking him if he knew anyone who might be District 1 resident and willing to do this. And he gave me a name, Don Dickerson. Dickinson. Dickinson. I have not spoken with the gentleman. I just got his name and mail address from Jeff this afternoon. He is also on the Casitas Springs Water District Board. And according to Jeff, has an address in the State Water Board directory on Edison Road, Casitas Springs. It's the only name that I've heard so far, the potential replacement.
And excuse me, and for my part, I promptly sent him an email. So I haven't got a response back, but that was also not so long ago, probably within the hour. So we'll see.
And I think he's the same fella that presented at the AWA Water Symposium last week. And representing the Casitas Springs Mutual Water Company. He's well spoken, and if I remember correctly, he used to work with United Water. He may actually have been Jim Kintosh may have reported to John at one point.
Okay. We'll see, pending other ostensible candidates.
Yes. Jeff says he's an old United Water engineer in Casitas Springs.
That was harsh.
Yes, long time would probably be
Okay.
Season.
all seasoned citizens here, yeah, on the board.
Also, Allison, in reading the accompanying material from the county elections division, and correct me if I'm incorrect, and I'm sure you will. It seems to imply that the candidate will fill the unexpired term unless there's another general election during that term, which usually there is, 2 years. So I don't know how that would impact that, whether the whoever we appoint is going to have to then stand for election in about 1.5 years. I'm sure it won't matter too much to them either way, but
I think it might be less than a year, because there's a primary coming spring. It is a general election.
right. But it specifically mentions the general election. I'm not making representations to anyone that I'm reaching out to that it would be for 3.5 years based on that notion. In any case,
I'm going to clarify that. That would definitely change. That would change the terms. That we currently have, and I don't know if that's just one of the downsides of having to fill something. My understanding is that for the remainder of that particular person's term, unless otherwise vacant, I think that they can force you to be in a general election if it remains vacant, then you have to report it as a vacancy, et cetera.
There's something in the law about whether you're within 130 days of a general election.
Yeah, like I think if you have a general election, that would be more appropriate that you have somebody elected and reported as vacant versus appoint somebody for a very short term. That was my understanding is that the goal is to actually complete somebody's elected term so they stay on the same cycle. But I can clarify that.
Well, I'm sure the good folks at the elections division will clarify that for all of us.
I'll
So-
follow.
All right, thank you.
Another-
Okay, so then what procedurally do we have to do I have to do, or we have to do then regarding next steps for committee assignments and an appointment of a vice chair?
The first thing I think is today, by tomorrow, by May 6th, need to notify the county of Stone's resignation.
That's been done.
We have done
Yes,
that.
I've done that, and the Form 700 clerk is already trying to track him down for his required office filing.
Yes, his
so-
leaving office form.
Yes, and then Dennis has also been notified that in the event that he returns his attempts to, to reach him, that there is a legal requirement that he provide the elections office his forwarding contact information. Because after you leave office, there are sometimes residual things in which may require they be able to find you. And that's a legal requirement. So Dennis is going to sort of try to assist with that and letting him know. But I assure you that elections will do the same. But
Yeah.
he has not provided them a forwarding address. Or
Staff know where he's living in Oklahoma.
no, we were not provided anything either. And so I was not able to assist them. But I've asked Dennis to reach out to him and let him know what he needs to do.
Well, I'd make two observations. One is there's something powerful about a state line, and even more powerful about 3 or 4 on the one hand. And on the other hand, I'm sure if it really is significant and important as it is, that Dennis knows a private investigator or two that probably could get to the bottom of that without a lot of expense. So
Fair enough. Yes. But yes, so that's already been done. We have
Okay.
fulfilled that obligation.
You have a cell phone number for him, an email, which I'm sure you have also.
The email that he was
Oh,
using was
that
the
was a
district,
charter.
with charter. He abandoned charter and started using the district email. So I don't know what email he set up after that.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe as a retiree, he keeps the charter email.
He has been up his charter email, is my understanding. Tell me,
So the charter email is no longer valid.
that's what I've been told. Yes, okay, so that's been done. As far as the committee assignments, and the appointment of a new vice chair, I will agendize that for the next meeting. That is solely with your discretion as the now chairman to do that. So start thinking about who you would like to appoint to replace Bill on all of his committees and who you would like to, we'll ask for nominations. I think was somewhat limited, but we'll ask for nominations for vice chair like we would our normal. Then, the board can approve that nomination. So if there's anybody you want to nominate, you probably start thinking about that.
Okay, well, I'm cognizant that we're down to 5 active board members.
Not exactly. I've spoken
Okay.
with Curtis. Under the Brown Act, prior to 2449 and 2302, can still attend remotely. We put his venue, his home address in this case, on the agenda. He posts a copy of the agenda, that location, and invites the public in. The public wishes to attend the meeting from there. So
Okay.
he very much wants to attend the meetings, has felt stymied, didn't realize that that was possible for him to do that.
Do you think his interest is in attending or getting assigned to a committee?
He's already assigned to 2 or 3 committees, right?
Not on any committee
Well,
this year.
yeah.
Any? Oh,
I meant
okay.
to additional committees.
He's on any.
Because,
this year.
I was thinking that Lowell and Mr. Kentosh both, have, it's approaching the summer and they may be otherwise occupied. They already have committee assignments, and it's gonna, notwithstanding, everybody's gonna wind up having additional assignments.
Additional
I don't want
assignments,
to
yeah.
overburden anyone. Excuse me?
I'm happy to take any assignment you want to give me. I'm going to have a couple of weeks during the summer when I will be out. Otherwise, I'll be here.
Okay, I think I aggregated, Allison, there's like 5 assignments I got to make here. I'll just figure one for everybody. Well, maybe 2 for Steve. You're already loaded up a little bit, but
I'm an alternate 2, and I'm on one of the other standing committees.
It's really
Okay.
only 2 super critical committees that he's on, which are the ordinance committee and the personnel committee. And then obviously the executive committee will be assumed by whoever you appoint as vice chairman. Whoever gets nominated and accepted by the board.
Okay.
The other committees, you really don't need to actually assign somebody if you didn't want to, because you already have a primary and an alternate 2. So it's like your alternate could just move up and then you just have one alternate. We started alternate 2s only to,
That's when Jack was the alternate. Yeah.
we alleviated Jack so that we'd have an alternate. And so the alternate 2 was actually added at a later date and is far less critical. So order of priority, I think in that instance, you have plenty for those board representative, sort of like subcommittees of your Special Districts Association and your LAFCO advisory. Because you have somebody else that can assume that role already. It's more the other 2 that are critical that do actual district business.
Okay, well, in that case, that sounds like we can sort that out at the next meeting.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. I think that answered all the questions that I had. Is there any other dimension to this that I need to
I'm
address?
curious, has anyone else heard of any suggestions of any other potential representatives?
So you have options. I mean, it doesn't have to be just hoping somebody comes forward. I mean, you have options. We can run a publication versus posting. If you have things that you want to put in there as far as like preferred knowledge or skills or this or that, that's entirely at your discretion. If you want just anybody to apply and then you want to weed through them, that's fine. Also, we can make it super generic. You can do a mailer to specific neighborhoods if you'd like, announcing a vacancy. I mean, we'd be happy to get a mailing list and facilitate that. I mean, you have options.
Post office does what they call EDDM, every door direct mail. You could send a postcard. I don't know how they have to ask the post office how they differentiate where they send things. They would certainly do it by zip code. That's easy for them. But the elections district at county could have a list, all the people in District 1.
So I can get a mailing list.
Card to all of them, probably work.
I can get a mailing list from the county, and I can have a mailing house sort that list, and we can do some sort of announcement similar to what we put in the paper if you want to do that. It just depends on how many people you want to be able to pick from and how long you want to spend doing it.
Yeah, there is that. How
There are
about,
schedules in the law about the replacement.
well, how about we start with the newspaper, the Ventura County Star, with, and I'd think more generic rather than as far as requirements or skills or knowledge, rather than anything specific. And that's something that can happen quickly. And then why don't we look at what's involved in the mailing from, the list from the county, because obviously that's going to take a little bit longer.
Sure.
And that should really cover things, shouldn't it?
Yeah. By the way, if you get a call back from Mr. Dickinson, it is page 28 of 36, the packet. It has a sample application for appointment.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'll let him know. I may download it so that I can upload it to any emails that I'm putting out. Yes.
But as far as either assignments or qualifications for someone, you can draft it as well as anybody, or if you want to get offline and chat for 5 minutes, I'm sure we can come up with something.
Yeah. Have we anything in the archives from past similar situations?
I looked,
Last replacement thing Berg said was self in 2001.
yes, those archives are
Oldie.
electronically unavailable, thus in a box somewhere, and so I did not go up and dig through them.
Well, that's okay. I as I recall, I was responsive to the Division 7, which I'm trying to remember what year that was. May have been 2016. A little more recently than Mr. Berg. And maybe it was 2000. It's either 2014 or 2016. Now the board chose not to appoint anyone because there was a general election coming up, which I stood for, and
That was 16.
16. So there we go. I don't know if
That
that's
was 18.
electronically available.
Have a look.
If it's not, I don't think we need to break our pick on it. The issue is simply a board of directors seat is open, and we'll see what we get, and we'll sort through it.
It's pretty
So-
straightforward. The Division 1 director has resigned as a result of being out of the district, looking for a representative.
Okay. Is there anything else then that we need to discuss or go over?
So,
Okay. Any comments from anyone? It's nice to see you back, Scott. It's a very stylish cane you have there. Whatever's on the floor, though, looks like it could be a hazard picking it up.
I got my long arms. I'll grab it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. Well, is there anything else then?
get it started, and agendize selection for the May 28th. Sorry, May 6th, 7th meeting.
Yeah, the
7th.
Tuesday after Memorial Day.
agenda is what kind of selection? An actual, present your candidates?
Well, I think we need to make a decision either to appoint someone or to call a special election by that time. I need to check with Dennis again for the exact timeline.
June, I think there might be some flexibility on that.
And it's, yeah, I think it's
Feasibility issue.
before the June 17th, 16th meeting.
You may have to do a special meeting, or to accommodate that. We'll do our best to accommodate that timeline. The Star has usually almost a week out for publication notices, so you're gonna get only about a week runtime probably. So we'll see. Our best, we'll communicate. Mine.
Well, it's all compressed timelines. It should be interesting.
But we should also agendize election of a new vice chair. I presume that under the ordinances, under the district code, that Bill, we don't have to do anything with Bill, just automatically becomes chair.
Correct. Yes,
Then we have to elect a new vice chair.
that is correct.
It's good. I wasn't sure about.
Okay, well, in that case, then I'm going to call the meeting adjourned at 7:22. Is that the time you have? Excuse me, 4:22?
21 here.
Excuse me, 4:21. And thank you.
Q.
Thank you.